changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration to make you simply happy. It's Thoughtful Thursday, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, pretending that you are the type of person you want to be and miraculously becoming that type of person. This could be your New Year's resolution if you've already given up on whatever you thought you were going to do this year. And in fact, this story was published in a book we made 8 years ago called Chicken Soup for the Soul, My Resolution. In her story, Linda Butler tells us that she was always shy. She found people to be complicated and intimidating. To her, they seemed unpredictable, and she never knew what to expect. She didn't even like to answer the telephone because she was afraid she'd have to talk to somebody she didn't know. Instead, Linda enjoyed spending time by herself, exploring the hills that were near her California home. She would go hiking by herself, and she liked it that way. But at school, Linda had to be with other people. She escaped that problem by reading. Reading gave her an excuse. If someone saw her alone, but she was reading, that seemed okay because reading is supposed to be a solitary activity. She felt like it didn't look like she was deliberately avoiding being with people when she was reading. She got good grades, except for Spanish class, because in Spanish class you were required to stand up and talk in front of everybody. But anyway, that was Linda's childhood. She was content, but she was alone. And then she went to college, and she was increasingly forced into situations where she had to talk to new people. By her third year of college, Linda decided that enough was enough. It was time to overcome her extreme shyness. She actually liked being around people, and she wanted to be able to talk to them. So she made a resolution. Just through force of will, she would change who she was. Now, surprisingly, for someone who didn't like to talk to people, Linda had an affinity for languages, and she could speak some Spanish, German, and Russian. The local classical music station was running an ad for someone to come on air and announce what was playing, which involved pronouncing lots of foreign names like Tchaikovsky, Albinoni, Chopin, Dvorak, and Rachmaninoff. Linda submitted an audition tape, and she survived her interview, and then she was offered the job. So now Linda, who was as shy as could be, was an on-air radio personality. She worked nights and weekends, and she talked on air to thousands of people and also talked on the phone to people who called in making requests. After a few months of being a DJ, Linda realized that talking to people was not scary at all. It was actually fun. She moved on with her life. She got married. She had 5 children. And as a mother, she had to talk to lots of new people all the time, and she was good with that. And she even got another people job, interviewing people and writing their stories for a weekly community newspaper. We see this kind of story over and over again. People finally getting tired of whatever is holding them back from being truly happy and deciding to, very simply, just be different. So whether it's shyness or fear of doing a particular thing, the message we see time and again is that you can change just by deciding that you're going to. There's a quote that's attributed to a lot of people, but it actually seems to come from an author named James Sherman. He said, "You can't go back and make a new start, but you can start right now and make a brand new ending." So that's the key. Whatever it is, you can decide right now to be different going forward. And before you know it, the new you will come naturally, and you won't be forcing it anymore, and you will actually be that new person. Speaking of a new attitude, tomorrow we're going to talk to supermodel Emmy, one of my co-authors on our new book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Curvy and Confident, and we're going to talk about confidence. We'll have some pointers for you on loving, feeding, and moving that body that you were issued at birth. You'll be wearing a bathing suit in public before you know it. I'm Amy Newmark. Thanks for listening to the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast today. If you want to read some more tips from the book I mentioned, Chicken Soup for the Soul, My Resolution, then please visit our website, chickensoup.com. chickensoupforthesoul.com.